Now, depending on what you're into, I don't judge. But normally, a relationship usually consists of two parties. But lately, there's been an observation I can't ignore. I have a theory. Relationships today seem to involve more people than ever before.
I was going to say this is a hot take, but it's really not much of a hot take. I genuinely think when it comes to relationships, social media is one of the worst things that could have ever happened.
It's not hard to argue with that when you look at the growing conversation around relationships lately and how more and more people are starting to feel like their relationship just doesn't belong to them.
You have to be fearless as to be dating in this day and age, because not only do you have to worry about just getting your heart broken in general, but now you got to worry about your tea and your business being spilled on the internet for the sake of somebody's pocket.
It's not a groundbreaking discovery that society is completely obsessed with watching people fall in love.
I feel like other people are so obsessed with other people falling in love, and it's kind of weird.
What feels just a bit different now is how far people are taking that obsession.
Can someone explain to me what are so many people's obsessions with other people's relationships? Oh my god, if you guys ever broke up, I would genuinely end my life! Damn, is really not that deep for real.
It makes complete sense why the biggest relationship show on air right now works so well. Or maybe not so well, because it gives people a front row seat to something that should only matter to the two people inside of it.
The Love Island is corrupting relationships. It glamorizes attraction, emotional detachment, and turns real intimacy into content.
And it's creating this contradiction where people want millions to be invested in their love life, while at the same time not letting a single person know who they're actually in love with.
1 week after me and my boyfriend started dating, I hard launched him on my TikTok, and we've had multiple videos go viral. We've had multiple pictures of ours go viral, think pieces about us, and to this day, y'all don't even know his name.
And this points to a much bigger issue bubbling under the surface, because people still want relationships to feel intimate, personal, and somewhat private. So what happens when that same intimacy is rewarded for being public? Welcome to the Girl Talk you didn't know you needed. Now, I'm not saying you have to subscribe. You're classy. I know you don't just give those away for free, but hopefully at the end of this video, we become bestie enough for you to take that next step. Now, I could sit here and bore y'all with the history of dating and courtship and how it used to be private and intimate, but that would be redundant. Everyone knows relationships are a private matter. So what happened from then to now, where it became all eyes on? Well, it basically started because the people running television just got bored.
Chuck Barris was the head of daytime television at ABC. He was in charge of what game shows didn't or didn't make the air. He hated what he saw. It was all boring. It was just game shows of people stacking books on their feet, and that was pretty much it, from what I can gather. And he thought to himself, why not make something more interesting? Why not add an emotional resonance? If daytime television was always going to be boring, then let's spice it up a little bit.
They had news stations, sitcoms, and traditional game shows, yes, but as boring as society may have looked back in the day, people felt it watching TV too. They felt that the traditional game shows were dry and stiff and a little bit too innocent. But you want to know what wasn't innocent? People's personal, private, intimate love lives. So they took the private stuff and turned it into a show. And the idea was to take away the one thing people usually relied on when they were checking out a potential partner: their looks.
It wasn't until 1965 that a reality love show, ABC's The Dating Game, first tried to take on Cupid's role.
From Hollywood, the dating capital of the world, in color, it's The Dating Game.
Each episode featured an eligible single looking to go on a date with one of the other contestants. The catch? The potential partners remained out of sight while the eligible bachelor or bachelorette made decisions based solely on their anonymous interactions.
When dating shows aired, they basically took a process that happened quietly and privately and turned it into something people could sit back and watch. And since you couldn't see the other person, but the whole audience could see, this changed the entire dynamic of how you found a match, to the point where contestants could choose their partner based solely off of the sound of their voice.
And we'll try with bachelor number one first. Would you please say good afternoon to Rita?
Good afternoon, Rita.
Thank you. Number two.
Good afternoon, flower of my heart.
Rita, which one gets the date?
Number two.
Number two, all right.
Now, from a television standpoint, it was a brilliant idea. It tapped into a different level of curiosity. Before this, everything you watched felt kind of fake, maybe a little rehearsed. But this became a huge hit because it felt a lot more vulnerable to everything else. And it proved that even the most basic thing, like human interaction, could make some very addictive TV.
The dating game was an immediate hit. It was extremely popular with young people, and more than anything, there had just truly been nothing like this on television up until this point. We think of dating shows as kind of an inevitable concept. Of course they would come up with this. But at the time, there had never been a show dedicated to conversations between random people.
Now, compared to the type of things we hear and see in modern dating shows today, back in the day, it might have seemed very lighthearted and innocent.
Number one, I've never been out on a date before. What do two kids like us do on a date?
Have dinner together.
But we have to remember the type of climate this was being broadcasted into, with how reserved everyone was back then, with how private people kept their private life. This was fresh and new and completely changed what they could get away with.
In an extremely puritanic country such as the United States, Americans were a lot less forthcoming with their dating lives and sexual habits in the 60s and 70s. What I've come to find in my research is that dating shows aren't just a way to watch attractive strangers flirt with each other. They're a bookmark in the history of what was sexually taboo at the time of filming.
And it wasn't explicit by any means, but it was just enough to make the audience at the time lean in, especially when they began testing the waters and asking questions that seemed bold and revealing, almost risque. But the answers to those questions showed just how much the comfort levels were changing.
Okay, number one, would you prefer the skirt lengths to go up, to come back down, or to stay as is?
Oh, they can go up or down anywhere they want to go. They're all the same. I like skirts.
Oh, great. I'm glad.
So now we're, there, seeing a side of people on TV they've never seen before. And at the same time, the networks are seeing a level of interest from the audience that they haven't before. And as the years went on, and as these dating shows got even more popular, the goal wasn't just to choose a partner based off their voice anymore. No, they started to let the walls down and decided to enclose the contestants inside of them. Dating shows in the past were definitely pushing the boundaries of private relationships, usually built without an audience. But imagine how wild it was when they decided to make the entire dating process into a literal competition.
He's got the looks, the money, the charm, but beginning tomorrow, he will get what he doesn't have: a wife. Over the next 6 weeks, 25 women will appear, but only one will be chosen to marry the bachelor.
Sure, there was always some form of competition when it came to these brand new dating shows. But what was so different about The Bachelor was that it made the actual relationship the competition. In the past, the show ended the second a couple met, so the relationship could still bloom in private behind closed doors. But this show changed that. By keeping the cameras rolling for weeks, tracking every single intimate conversation they had, from fights and hookups to live breakups.
Came here to find somebody to spend the rest of my life with, and we're not right for each other.
Understandably, Melissa didn't exactly take the news well, as he told her that he had a change of heart and wanted to be with the runner-up Molly. Melissa calls him a bastard and tells Jason to leave her alone. It's brutal, raw, and a moment that feels too real, which makes it by far the franchise's most dramatic moment.
This was a massive shift in how much privacy people were willing to give up for television. But there was something about The Bachelor that still had, I guess we could say, a little bit of class when it came to love. They still tried to present the show as if they were protecting the sacred, private nature of falling in love. And while that worked for years to come and so on, there was one show that added a little bit of flavor to the mix by taking that same setup and just making it a little bit more chaotic.
Once upon a time, in the wild, lawless land of mid-2000s cable television, VH1 said, let's put 20 women in a house together to compete for the love and affection of Flavor Flav. Flavor of Love was a ratings juggernaut. It became one of VH1's highest rated shows at the time, with the season 2 finale drawing in 7.5 million viewers.
And to be honest, I don't even think chaotic does it justice. It put love in a very messy, very dramatic, and very entertaining light. And I think at that point, people realized that they weren't really watching these shows for love. They wanted to see the contestants lose their ever-loving minds on camera. And it really started to raise even more concern, even more interest when relationships started to bloom on social media. Unlike the dating shows we talked about earlier, this was a lot different than what was happening on television. When Facebook became popular in the mid to late 2000s, one profile feature made it easier than ever for people to keep tabs on your love life.
Facebook official now is the new term for people that are in relationship.
With so many new users, young and old, many agree the lines of what's appropriate are becoming blurred. Another type of update that can get Facebookers in trouble, the relationship status.
Do you announce to the world your engagement via Facebook?
A problem if you're trying to keep your social life separate from work and family.
You can now publicly label yourself as single, in a relationship, engaged, married. You could even let people know your relationship was on the rocks without having to say a single word. And it wasn't long until people were literally signing up to stay updated on relationships that weren't even theirs.
Hey, good news for all the Facebook users who ever wanted to keep an eye on their friends' relationship statuses. A new Facebook application would make it possible for you and will send the notification every time they change their relationship status. The name of the application is Facebook Breakup Notifier, which can monitor friendship status of multiple users for you and can send you email whenever someone changes the status.
People were now seeing relationships in a brand new light, and eventually couples started sharing a lot more than their relationship status. Date nights, special moments, thoughtful gestures, things that would have stayed private before were now being shared on the internet. And that's when people started asking questions that haven't really existed before this point.
All couples need to have private places in their life that are just about them.
That private space was crossed when Jonathan posted a picture of their first candlelight dinner a year and a half ago.
I was like, well, wait a minute. Is this more for show or is this more for, is this us?
And Jonathan, you were posting it for what reason?
I just was pouring out my heart in that moment. I absolutely respected how she felt about it, and then it gave us an opportunity to truly discuss what's appropriate.
Now that Facebook has given people the comfortability to share their relationships, and then on top of that, social media as a whole started growing even more, it wasn't long before couples started monetizing this. Some of the biggest stars online weren't actors, they weren't singers, they weren't celebrities. They were literal couples.
And now we're going to be talking about couples channels and how a lot of them not only had us in a chokehold on YouTube, but also really had these people pegged as couples goals when they were really regular people doing stupid shit on the internet. And most importantly, doing things that we do on a regular day-to-day, which is create, cultivate, and nurture relationships.
And I'ma just put it on the record. I religiously watched Gina and Jesse. I don't know what it was about them. I think they were the first couple prank channel. So it was very new and different. When I tell y'all, I loved them as a kid. But Most of these couples were basically doing relationships like everyone else, but they had a perk. They had the audience, they had that attention and that visibility, but you'll eventually start realizing that wasn't really a perk after all. It's actually quite invasive.
I think the biggest thing was the exploitation that occurred through these regular people who became prominent internet sensations in a short amount of time. They put out their personal business, their hardships, their embarrassing story times. They showed their families, they showed their arguments. They literally exploited and exploded every part of their personal life. These were normal, everyday people with crazy amount of fans for nothing other than being in a relationship, and they were actively posting every nitty-gritty detail about themselves and kids, and young people soaked it up.
Now, as we can all see, there are certain things that just work better when they're treated as personal matters. And for me, one of those matters is my relationship with food. I used to think having a complicated relationship with food was a normal thing, so I ignored it for years. But after losing 60 pounds and then gaining it all right back, I felt stuck. But with the help of Nourish, the sponsor of today's video, I was able to go undercover and finally get some answers. I didn't realize how much I needed personalized support, which is exactly what Nourish does by connecting you with registered dietitians virtually and nationwide. So I went undercover and booked my appointment the same way anyone else would, just to see what my experience would be like. And my session actually went really well. My dietitian was patient and she really listened to my frustrations and then my goals. It was like a therapy session I didn't know I needed. And instead of giving generic advice, we focused on a plan that would stop that frustrating cycle of losing and gaining for good. I've also been struggling with bloating and gut issues, while at the same time going really hard with protein because that's what everybody says to do. But my nutritionist explained to me how important fiber and gut health are for my body. So now I aim to hit about 30 grams, which is doing my body wonders. Your dietitian can also order lab work and go over the results with you. Now, since I just recently had blood work done at the doctor's office, she was still able to go over those results with me and break everything down. Getting started is simple because Nourish works with hundreds of insurance plans, and most patients pay little to nothing out of pocket. And if your first session isn't covered by Nourish, they'll cover the rest for you with Nourish Guarantee, meaning no surprise billing and your appointment will never cost more than the initial estimate. And once you're all signed up, their app keeps everything in one place so that you can message your dietitian, track your macros, and view recipes. If you're tired of fighting the same cycles with food and want sustainable support, I highly recommend Nourish. Click the link in my description to book your appointment and learn more today. Now, as more and more people started following these couples online, something else started happening too. People were becoming a lot more parasocial with social media relationships. And even though there might have been a lot of pressure that came with being a social media couple, the parasocial fans, everyone having opinions, people picking sides, and then people seeing you at your most vulnerable, that led to a lot of relationships turning into something everyone was invited to weigh in on.
I don't like the things that you like. I don't want the same things that you want. I'm not interested in the same things that you are. And I want you to have that. So why am I like selfishly hanging on with a million other reasons? Like, guys, there's a lot. That's like the main.
I love soap operas now. This is good.
So what triggered you to be so mean though this last month? Not that she was horrible. She was actually very nice to me during
Jesus
the actual
Christ.
breakup.
Announcing the breakup became almost like the next chapter of sharing the relationship. And just as much as people felt obliged to post their relationship status, their photos, their date nights, and so on, now they have an audience. And they also felt obliged to keep the audience in the loop.
Hey guys, update on my boyfriend and I breaking up.
Get ready with me to break up with my boyfriend of 4 years. In that sentence, it doesn't feel real.
And at this point, "we broke up" was getting a lot more attention than "we're together." The audience wasn't satisfied with just knowing it ended, they wanted to know why. They wanted to know the details, the context, and the story behind it. And people weren't shy to give it to them.
Reason why me and my boyfriend of 4 years broke up. The reason why I am sharing it though is, number one, I'm gonna do it in a way that doesn't invade anyone's privacy. And then also, like, you guys are my people. I think it's important. If I was following someone who shared very publicly about the relationship and then their breakup, but then didn't tell us why, I'd be pissed.
With so much access, we can't be surprised when people started feeling included in these relationships too. They had favorite couples, they picked sides, they followed every update. And before long, people became emotionally attached to couples they've never met.
I am a parasocial. I don't care. I've always been a parasocial, and I say this because ever since every love movie I watch, if I like the two people together, I stalk them on the internet. I don't care. Call me what you want. I am a parasocial. Always been a parasocial.
Metaphorically speaking, if TikTok was like digital high school, then Monet is the prom queen and Jalen is the prom king, because these two are just so yummy together. I'm obsessed. In this soft launch, Monet.
And that's where things started to get a little tricky, because people quickly realized there were benefits to sharing a relationship online, but there were also consequences that came with it too. And that contradiction is still playing out today. How is it playing out, you ask? Well, if you've been living on Earth for the past 10 to 15 years, you've most likely seen how these public relationships and social media couples play out. And a lot of people will say it's not for the best.
Let's get into why it's so important not to idolize none of these couples online. Y'all familiar with Rose and Brett? You know, the interracial couple that got together and, you know, supposed to be so cute online and all that stuff. Only to now be on live and cussing him out, going off saying how he was a bum sleeping in somebody's basement. She paid for everything and yada, yada, yada.
So popular influencer Nazanin Kavari just announced that she and her man have split up. What's interesting is that she said that they split up in March of 2024. So she waited for over a year to announce the breakup, and during that year continued to make couples content.
This, I believe, has rewired a lot of people's brains. This isn't 2010 anymore. If people see a social media couple, their first thought is most likely, this is fake, this is all for the camera.
Never trust those social media couples. That's fake as I don't care how much they post on social media, how much they seem like they in love. That's some fake. All those social media couples that blow up and become famous, get that shit like 1 year, 2 years. Watch what happens. Breaking news, jealous husband blows his girl head off. Oh yeah, they were a viral couple. I'm dead serious.
And in a world where people feel like they have nothing better to do than post, they're torn between posting their relationship and having strangers feel entitled to it, or keeping it completely private and feeling like nobody knows this huge part of their life exists. So, to find a middle ground, people are now doing something called a soft launch.
I remember there was the day, like years and years back, where it was very normal to do like these hard launches. Like people would be dating for like a week or a month. They would change their whole Facebook status from single to in a relationship. It used to be so serious, but now in order to be that girl, none of that is happening. A picture on the story of y'all holding hands, 24 hours to see the back of this man's head, no tag, and that's tasteful.
This is the new way of posting your partner without posting your partner. And I guess people see it as a win-win because you can let everyone know you're spoken for, but at the same time, keep everyone from actually speaking. You may get a pair of shoes, a hand, an arm, almost like a game of Clue.
Girl soft launch is kind of like playing Clue or a murder mystery. You're gonna get a hand, you're gonna get a leg, you're gonna get a shadow, maybe even a hand with a fork. What's happening? Who's in it? We have no idea. And the truth of this lies in the center of it, which is that nobody cares. Just hard launch, please.
Not to mention, a lot of people will go the soft launch route because once you post something as intimate as a relationship online, whatever the consequences are, you have to be prepared to face them.
This woman just posted her man for the very first time, a man she's dating in Houston, and it goes a little viral. The video goes a little viral. And the baby mama comments, if only he would pay his child support. Excuse me?
Girls that are super quick to post a man actually scared the crap out of me. Like, you've known this man for 5 minutes and you're posting him, like his face, everything. You want to be embarrassed.
So to avoid that, they'd rather face the backlash of people clowning them for posting a pinky and an elbow.
Never understood people who soft launch relationships, because why are you posting their elbow for 6 months? Like anybody gives a just post them or just stay single. That's weird behavior.
Probably a little mean, but I don't really care. There's nothing I respect less than a soft launch. I hate soft launches. Unless you are a celebrity or a public figure, why are you soft launching?
But at the end of the day, being called ridiculous for a soft launch might just be a lot easier than dealing with the consequences of a hard launch. We discussed how intimate relationships have become a lot more public and the repercussions of it. And today, it's 10 times worse.
Just take my advice. Do not post nobody, because it's like as soon as you post somebody, it's like everybody got something to say. People swap it up on your story. Oh, he tried to talk to me. He tried to talk to me. Like, it's really embarrassing. At the end of the day, they're doing something, and after you post them, it's gonna turn into a whole disaster.
I used to post my boyfriend all over social media, and it low-key ruined my life. Started dating, and I literally just started posting him. I remember maybe 8 months into the relationship, I got a DM, first "Hey girly" DM I've ever received. Screenshots of him sending this random girl his address.
For a lot of people, that's exactly why they've started pulling back. Because once you've watched so many public relationships fall apart, once you've seen all the "we broke up" TikToks and then the countless comments of people adding their input, privacy starts looking a lot more attractive and valuable.
I was always one of those girls that like didn't really understand why people wouldn't post their relationship at all. I was just like, oh, why would you hide it? It honestly takes a whole different mental capacity to put any relationship online. How much criticism we'd get. It's like you want to share things, but like at a distance. For anyone judging, put your relationship online.
Because sharing your relationship can easily turn into feeling forced to update everyone every step of the way. And eventually people realize that some conversations are meant between two people, not 2 million.
Sharing my breakup as a whole is one of the biggest regrets of my entire life. You can trust me on that. My content used to be very heavily oversharing. I think that's why a lot of people started following me. So obviously when something really big happened in my life, I felt I absolutely had to overshare it.
Now, after hearing this, you'd think it would turn a lot of people off from posting their relationships, but what we're actually seeing are a lot of people redefining what privacy even means. So I guess technically the privacy is still in the room, because even though millions of people have seen your partner, they still technically haven't seen him.
As a social media influencer, my life is pretty public, but 1 week after me and my boyfriend started dating, I hard launched him on my TikTok and it got 1 million likes. Not 1 million views, 1 million likes. And I have posted him a lot. And we've had multiple videos go viral. We've had multiple pictures of ours go viral. Think pieces about us. He's probably had well over 100 million impressions in the content that he's been included in. And to this day, y'all don't even know his name. I don't know nothing about him. Everyone knows he's dating an influencer, but they don't know really anything else about us and our relationship. It's super private.
Now here's where I'm confused, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you are too, because if people want privacy this bad, if people can come online and say, I post my relationship for millions to see, but I also don't want millions involved, why tell us about the relationship at all? Why post the hand? Why post the arm? Why post the shoes? It's almost as if people feel like a relationship isn't fully real until other people know about it.
Why do women want to post their relationships? Like, who is that for? It's not for me and you, because I know I love you and you know you love me, so why I gotta post it? Who is it for? If it's for the socials, just say that then, and then I can dead it. I'm just lost about who you do that for, because it ain't for us. Because if you want a picture just for us, the pictures could just be ours.
And here's where we see the complete contradiction, where people want to keep their relationship hidden, but they can't fathom the thought of not being able to let people know at least something, to the point where you could be about to tie the knot, and we're still seeing engagement photos with the groom cut out.
That man got on one knee and asked you to be his forever, and you can't even post him. Crazy business.
Why do you people do this? Why do you do this? Like, how does this help?
How does this help?
Now look, I'm not against posting your partner versus not posting your partner versus soft launching. It's whatever you want to do that makes you feel comfortable in your relationship, but we cannot ignore this tug of war we're seeing.
Y'all took this soft launching thing too far. Posting your partner and cutting off their head is weird as and if you did that to me, I'm starting a fight. If my boyfriend posted a photo where we are clearly standing next to each other and you can see my full body and he blurred out my face,
you're a weirdo of all weirdos. If you're engaged or if you're married and you still not showing your partner, what the frick are you hiding for?
No one is forcing you to post that man, but yet in order for you to post them, you have to make sure their entire face is blurred. So it's making a lot of people wonder, what is the point?
My thing is, like, if you're gonna be the type that, like, you know, you don't put your relationship out there, you don't post your significant other, do not post them with their face covered. Like, with an emoji over their face or, like, not showing their face. Like, what's the point of that? Like, are you just trying to say, like, I do have a significant other, I just don't want you to see them?
Now, there are many theories. Of course, like we discussed, a lot of people want to avoid opinions from strangers. A lot of people want to avoid explaining a breakup for later. And of course, a lot of people don't want to be embarrassed. Especially when the first conclusion a lot of people create is that 1, they must be ugly, that's why you're hiding them. And 2, if they're hidden that well, people start wondering, who are they really being hidden from?
Whenever somebody is hiding their man so much on social media, like you'll post a picture, but like it's only the back of his head, or you post the front of his face, but you'll put an emoji over it, or like you'll cover his face with a water bottle, like when they hiding their man that bad, especially if you do like a baby shower, baby announcement photo shoot, and you still got that man face covered, that's somebody else's man, ain't it? You cannot tell me that man is not married to somebody else. I know he is.
I need y'all to understand something. Remember earlier when I said people quickly realized there were benefits to sharing a relationship online? And I don't think there's a stronger example of this than Love Island. Because what makes that show so successful is never the actual relationships that come out of it. It's the fact that the audience gets to be involved.
Just to make sure everybody's on the same page, okay? When it comes to tonight's voting, we gotta vote for our favorite couple. We gotta vote for our favorite couple, which means we have to vote for everybody else but Taylor and Clark. Okay, Taylor and Clark are over here. We have to vote for everybody else, okay? Just so we're crystal clear, okay? I'm not playing with y'all. We gotta come together and get these damn people off this damn island. I need them out my villa now.
They get to pick favorite couples. They get to pick sides. They defend people they've never met. They celebrate breakups. And that is just the Love Island experience.
This season is boring. I'm so disappointed with the females this season. They are crying every episode, flipping out because they see their man possibly having a conversation or exploring another connection that's not them. And I feel like this cast chose the wrong show. Why are we this locked in and it's only been, 10 days?
The villa's getting boring, stagnant, and cliquey. Here's how we fix it. If you're happy in your couple, if you found your person, you've locked in and you're closed off, see you later. You're going home.
But it perfectly puts on display how people aren't satisfied with just seeing a relationship anymore. They want some type of access to it. There's even a claim that Love Island is basically normalizing the idea that other people should be involved in your love life, basically training people to sit back and watch something that normally happens within a relationship.
I really feel like Love Island is a psyop to make everybody into cucks, along with all the other dating shows out there, because it's like, why is everybody kissing each other at the same time in front of each other and like waiting turns to kiss? You know what I'm saying? It's giving cuck.
Wild take, but in theory, it makes a lot of sense. Why are we trying to exploit something that should be very personal, something that strives when everyone is left out of it? We're seeing people still want intimacy, but in a world where everything seems like it needs to be posted online, they're also stuck between wanting an audience. At the end of the day, always remember that you do not need to involve people and social media in your personal intimate relationships, because once people are invited in, it gets a lot harder to decide how involved they get to be. Thank you for tuning into the Girl Talk you didn't know you needed. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, whatever classy people like you do before heading to the next video. And I will see y'all in the next one. Also, if you haven't noticed, new hair, new me. Actually, new hair, same me. Okay? Because I don't play. I'm the same girl. Period. Bye, y'all.